Last week we met Jake. This is Jake's first flip, so we watched as he and his fixer's coach walked the house to see if it had any potential. Jake liked his projected numbers through Fixer's quickscope, so he made an offer. Now he's back with his general contractor during the inspection period to work out the details of his scope builder and his plans moving forward. As always, Jake has his tablet with him, making sure Fixers keeps him organized, on time, and on budget. Jake decided to purchase the property and his offer was accepted. While in the inspection period, he is on site filling out his scope builder and waiting for his general contractor to arrive to go over some of the finer details.
Hey Ryan,
Yeah, Jake. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming over today.
Thank you. What do you guys got going on here?
Well, we're gonna first of all take a look at the whole house and see what we need to do.
Okay.
Maybe you can give me some recommendations and stuff like that.
All right, sounds perfect.
All right.
My name's Ryan, Creative Effects. I've been doing this for quite a long time, actually. Grew up in Northern Kentucky doing this with my father, so we've been doing residential construction all my life. So I moved out here to Colorado and we started doing property management and maintenance for about 6 to 8 years, and then kind of put everything from all those maintenance things together and started doing actual flips and remodels for multiple different customers. So it's been a pretty long road, but it's been fun quite along the way. New houses, for me are easy to do, so I can get in and get out pretty quick for you.
How much of the work do you do yourself and how much do you farm out to subs?
Well, that has been an ebb and flow over the years, right? So of course at the beginning I've been doing a lot more myself, and generating the name in the business, but as time has gone on, the name has grown, so I've needed to bring in more subs, but we do have trusted subs that we have used now for at least about 8 to 10 years, pretty solid.
Let's talk about this kitchen. Obviously the first thing that comes to mind is these countertops gotta go, right?
Okay.
I would like to do granite. What do you think about that backsplash?
Well,
And this
ultimately,
one, obviously too.
yeah, ultimately, if you end up doing the entire granite surface, you're going to have to remove this old backsplash anyway. And so I think something that might work a little bit better for you to complement it, if you're going to keep these older cabinets, to get a granite that's going to match, give yourself an undermount sink,
Okay.
right? And then I think you should take the backsplash, a new backsplash, from the bottom to the top of the cabinets, and that'll kind of give it a fuller look inside the kitchen.
Okay. The appliances, the modern look is, I actually heard something about like stainless black now.
Sure.
Probably is it better to just go with the standard stainless at this point?
Well, it's who you're trying to appease to, for sure. The black stainless is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely a higher end, upgraded
Right.
type of finish that's getting a little bit more modern.
Okay.
But generally, for your price point, you could probably pick up a stainless package, a 4-piece for somewhere around $2,500 or so,
Okay.
maybe a little bit less depending on the brand that you choose. And I think that might fit this a little bit more than trying to go super modern with some kind of a stove and a dishwasher and a refrigerator and keeping these oak cabinets. I think if you do something a little bit more traditional but also has a little bit more pizzazz, I think it'll help you out a lot.
All right. These knobs probably should be replaced. I think they look a little dated, and the doorknobs over on the door over there.
I agree. The brass is definitely out. It's going to give it a dated look. So if you get something similar, if you're doing stainless, maybe some brushed nickel, something like that, I think it's going to help you out quite a bit.
Okay. So what do you think about some of that decorative molding up there?
Well, right now, I don't think I would spend any money on taking any of the decorative moldings away. I think it gives a little bit of a character to the room.
Okay.
So if you're just going to go through and paint the entire place, I would probably just keep with it and not worry about spending the money on little things like that.
Okay.
When we're talking about the kitchen, you could go one of two ways. It depends on the budget of your house. You can either take out the kitchen cabinets completely, the granite countertops, and put in new backsplash, new countertops, and new kitchen cabinets. If you're budget conscientious, those are really good, solid cabinets. They have a little bit more of a dated look, but they're very clean. So you could easily just take off the countertop itself, install a new undermount sink and faucet, and then install a new backsplash that kind of complements the area and save yourself a lot of money.
Okay. 104.
So that'll give us the dimension all the way across from here to here. That also gives us our dimension of our granite. It'll
Right.
also give us the dimension of our complete backsplash.
Okay, sounds good.
Regarding painting the oak cabinets, it's kind of a 50-50 decision, okay? And it kind of depends on the contractor that does it and the budget and the look that you're wanting. Painting cabinets is fine in its own respect as far as brightening up the place and making it have a good look, but generally it doesn't have a longevity lasting effect on the cabinet, and mars easier and isn't something that can be warranted for a very long time. So I generally try to steer away from painting cabinets.
So the homeowner left a bunch of furniture and other fixtures and stuff in here. What do you guys, do you throw this? Do you donate it? What do you guys do with this stuff?
Well, some of the stuff's in pretty decent condition. I would prefer to see it get donated if you don't know what you're wanting to do. I mean, obviously, I do the whole pick from family and friends and see if anybody wants anything
Yeah.
that he had left over. But other than that, I'm sure the ARC will come and pick it up. Or
Yeah, okay, good. So what about this flooring? I mean, this carpet looks like it's seen better days. It probably needs to be replaced. I don't think steam cleaning is going to really help much. What do you think?
I would agree as well. And you had talked to me earlier about doing some of the hardwoods throughout the entire place.
Yeah.
And with the hardwoods, depending on your budget, it's going to add a pretty decent sized cost. Tearing up the tile, tearing up the carpet all the way through. I think it was a good idea that you'd brought up to actually do some steam cleaning on the tile, bring the tile a little bit more back to life,
Okay.
get in a new carpet in this
Yeah, the
area.
grout looks really dark in some spots.
Exactly, it sure does. And so getting some new carpet in this area will definitely lighten it right back up.
Okay, great. Go check out the basement. So we got a lot of leaking down here. What do you think? Is it like
Yeah,
a pipe
that's-
or something, or?
That's unfortunate. Actually, let me get through here
Like a
and take
toilet
look
or
and see
something?
what we've got. Looks like you have some leaking from above for sure. It looks like it might be coming out of a drain pipe that is ending up right here on the on some of your ducting.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it's quite a bit. So that's something that we're going to have to address upstairs. I think there is a laundry area upstairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we might have something to do with some of the pipe work, or either
Okay.
a leaking drain or something like that. I
Right.
don't know if you had recently used it before
Well-
I arrived, or
Well, when the previous owner vacated, I noticed that they took the washer and dryer, but they didn't do a very good job with turning off the water there. So it could
Oh,
be
okay.
leaking due to that.
all right, absolutely. We should get up there pretty right away and take a look at that.
Okay.
But otherwise, while we're down here, I think we should actually take a look at the furnace. Your furnace seems to be pretty good in operational condition. As far as what you can tell, obviously I would suggest at least getting it cleaned and certified
Okay.
and make sure that it works properly.
Okay.
And if I look here, it looks like your hot water heater, it's about 6 years old.
That's pretty
So,
new.
yeah, it's relatively new. So it's about halfway through its lifespan or so, something like that. And one thing that you really want to look at is like all your dielectric unions all through here. They're
Uh-huh.
not corroded. Everything looks nice. I would not worry about trying to replace that.
Okay.
Don't fix what's not broken. If something were to come up on inspection, that would take care of it at that
Okay.
point.
With the basement, it definitely adds a lot of cost. You're, in a general sense, for a very easy basement with no bathroom or anything, you're going to be roughly around $35 to $40 a square foot to get it finished. And that's just general walls and insulation, drywall, and some carpet downstairs.
Does that include a bathroom down
No, it does not. So, and that number starts to fluctuate when you start to add water systems, whether it be a little kitchenette or a bathroom or something of that nature. That could bring you more up to the $55 to $65 a square foot range.
Okay.
And depending on what your resale value is, I don't know if that is something that's applicable in your property.
Okay.
Since I had a few things in my truck, I went ahead and capped this off for you, but this was the origin of your leak.
The leak downstairs?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
There's quite a bit of water down there.
Sure was. All right, so what are you thinking here?
Well, the countertop's got to go. Do these mirrors and that light fixtures probably should go in that one up there too?
Sure, I agree. I think, keeping with the theme of the kitchen, with the tile and everything running in through here, I say if you just keep the cabinet the way that it is, put on a new countertop, maybe something that either complements the kitchen or something, that's within budget over
Okay.
here into the bathroom. Let's change the mirror.
Would you do like a granite in here? Would you do like a quartz? What would you do on a bathroom?
Well, I would say, the difference between granite and quartz is not a lot price-wise.
Okay.
So it's really up to personal preference on that and the look that you're trying to achieve. But if you're going to start changing countertops, it's nice to have something that's a little bit more similar from what you have throughout the rest of the house.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So doing something like that and putting an undermount sink here, that would definitely help you.
Okay, I think we can update the towel bar and the ring here too. That's easy stuff.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
about the toilet? Do you recommend like replacing just the seat or the whole toilet? What do you think?
Well, that's another thing that's a personal preference. And then for me, personally, I would like to move into a house that has a new toilet, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think
su-
everybody would, yeah.
I suggest that anytime that you do any of these flips, that
Yeah.
you come in here and you replace the toilets for sure.
Great.
All right.
Okay, this is the biggest expense for the project, I think. It's going to
Okay.
be right here because we basically really want to modernize this bathroom and take this out after you and I talked about it. And what do you think? What's a good way to rip this out, open the bathroom out a little bit, put a glass shower in here? What would you do?
So you're thinking about maybe, getting rid of the tub and maybe eliminating this shower and maybe bringing it over here, making it a little bit
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit more of a feel. I guess what is the older generations or something
Yeah.
that are living in here,
I mean,
so
it's a
easier to
neighbor-
step
yeah, it's an
into.
older neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
Older-
well, that
older
could be easily done. You're
seniors.
going to end up with a pretty big void, right?
Okay.
So I would say if you decide that you want to move something, pretty good idea would be to actually put a custom shower pan in here. Give yourself another wall and utilize this space over here for maybe a linen closet
Okay,
or
good
something
idea.
of that
Yeah.
nature, and there's not a lot of privacy between this point and the bedroom, so I would suggest maybe putting in like a door in this archway opening.
Oh, yeah, right
You know,
here.
I've run into a lot of complications with other people, having this open bathroom setting but really not enjoying it, and then and having some complaints afterwards. So by putting a door that separates that, give yourself a linen closet and a full stand-up shower. I think that would really address this side. But what would you want to do with your cabinet? Same thing as before in the other bathroom, and we still have the oak.
Let's pretty much match. I would think it's probably a good way to go.
All right, so
I think
then
these sinks are okay to keep.
well, if you're going to do the granite like you're doing in everything
Yeah,
else,
then
then
you
we're
have
going to
to do
stick with the
drop- yeah,
undermount
that's
sinks.
right.
Yeah, let's do a single pole faucet,
makes
something
sense.
that makes it look good. And then we can talk about the mirror. We won't be able to keep the mirror that we have here currently because we have an outlet in it,
Okay.
right? And so with the outlet that we have in here, if we try to raise this mirror, you're either not going to have a backsplash that goes with the
Right.
granite, which will be a little odd compared to the rest of them.
Yeah.
So my suggestion here would be give yourself 2 individualized mirrors, and that'll give it a little bit more of a custom feel.
Okay.
Well, in that bathroom with what you're wanting to get rid of the tub and put something else in there in its place. So my ideas that we had discussed on the inside is to actually make that entire tub a shower stall, and let's relocate some of that plumbing. And then where the current shower stall is, we can create a closet there for you. They'll give you a little bit more pantry space on the inside. And then by doing that and getting yourself a new floor and giving yourself a new vanity and a new top for it, that should really update the bathroom and keep you at a little bit of a lower cost. Well, for the window in the master bath, I would change that to either tempered glass or some type of glass block. Tempered glass is probably going to be more in your budget.
So what do you think of this deck? I mean, I think it's in pretty good shape. It's not rotting or anything. Maybe just a little touch up on the stain. I'm gonna sand a little bit of stuff here. What do you
I would
think?
agree with that, absolutely. I think maybe what we should do is come in here and look for some sponginess, right? Make sure that there's no compromised railings or any kind of loose deck boards all the way throughout. And then if you give it a solid coat, I think you'll be pretty good. There's
Okay.
quite a few products out there that'll help you with that.
There's a pretty big problem here. It doesn't look like it's braced very well.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty spongy, so it looks like it's not supported correctly from underneath, or maybe you have something that might be rotted out.
Okay.
So what I think we should do is get up underneath the deck and take a look.
Oh, I see what you have going on.
What's under there?
It just looks like you have a beam that has a crack in it. So it looks like they tried to make too long of a span for this section. So
I have a perfect suggestion for it. What we need to do is pull up a couple of these boards,
Yeah.
and then we'll make ourselves like a caisson in the center.
Okay.
And let's give it some support, and that'll get rid of your sponginess for sure.
Okay. Good. I talked
Rob and I talked about putting a railing around this seat here. What do you think? Is that
Well, it kind of serves as a railing,
Uh-huh.
so it's definitely not necessary, but it's up to personal preference. You know, if
Okay.
you want to spend some money and put some money into adding railings or whatnot to the deck, you can.
but you don't think it's really necessary?
Not necessary, and if you want to be a little bit more budget conscious, then I would see you just actually staining the deck
Okay.
versus anything else.
Great. What about like exterior painting? Here we got two different colors on the siding here. I mean, not on the trim actually, but you know, what do you think of that? Do you
Well-
do the whole thing, or you just touch that up?
Well, yeah, if you're going to end up touching up areas, I would touch up areas fully. So, you know, if you're going to touch up a side with some of your siding, touch up the entire side, touch up an entire piece of trim, something that's going to make it match, right? So some of this paint's older and faded, right? It's not completely necessary to do a full paint job.
Yeah, because I don't even think it's in our budget to do the full paint.
And I can understand that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to focus on rotted areas and areas like this that you're seeing that need a little bit of touch up to actually make it look good.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we should measure this deck a little bit and see what we're looking at as far as square footage and staining.
All right, definitely sounds good. On the back, I would look for any loose areas on the deck. Make sure you don't have any structural problems. Clean up the backyard as well, and then maybe give the deck a solid coating, and that would pretty much clean up your exterior.
Okay.
Well, for the front yard, I really wouldn't do a whole heck of a lot. I'd manicure a little bit of the bushes around. I'd rake up, make sure leaves are looking nice. Everything's all nice and tight as far as the edging is concerned.
So that thing above the garage, what is that called, and what can we do to make that look a lot better?
Well, that's a little bit more of a difficult situation. So that's a dormer that comes out, and that's more of a facade dormer, right? So there's really no living space up there or anything. It's to kind of give the outside of the house a little bit more character. So what tends to happen is over time, those windows will start to fade because you don't have a way to clean them on the inside or anything like that. There's definitely a way that you could probably access that from the garage or attic space to get inside there and maybe either clean the windows or reglaze them to change them. But as far as the exterior of it, it's actually not that bad. As far as what I can see, I don't see any rotted wood, so just a little bit of exterior paint should take care of your problem. I would say overall on this project, the size of the flip, you're probably in a small to medium range, because if you keep just to the upper floor and you're not trying to do anything to the downstairs basement, very minor cosmetics on the exterior facade, the largest part being the master bedroom, this is a flip that should probably, in all reality, take you about 30 to 45 days.
So after meeting with Ryan, I started using the scope builder tool. One nice thing about the scope builder is that it puts a lot of the tasks in there for me, so I don't have to figure out every single thing that needs to be done. The most common tasks are put in there automatically, and then I was able to go in there and refine the rooms with what Ryan and I talked about and add those other tasks in there to kind of get a closer idea of what all the work that needed to be done.
Jake continues filling out his scope builder, and he's pleased with the results. With this property being mostly cosmetic, his scope builder is in line with the numbers QuickScope produced from the previous step. Next week, we'll tear things down and build them up again in the demolition and renovation episode, plus what to do when problems arise. Right here on Freshman Flips, presented by Fixers.com.